Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Hope everybody is doing good. It is November the 10th. It is this week's episode of Access Denied, where we get a chance to talk to parents, listen to parents, and educate parents on the issues that are going on in our public education system. We got a couple of things that we're going to talk about today, and thank you guys for starting to log in. Let me know good morning. Please start sharing this out to your friends, to your network, so they can jump on and we actually hear from real parents. But some of the things that we're going to talk about today, we want to highlight just some parents from our last two events who really showed up and showed out. We want to talk about some of the issues that came to the school board last night. We had some parent choice, we had some teachers. So I want to get you guys' perspective on that. We want to talk about, as we think about the budget, and as we listen to parents and where do we think the money should be going, there are a lot of people who say $1 billion is a lot of money. There are some people who say $1 billion is not. And so I want to hear from you guys. Where do you think we should be putting this $1 billion at a year? And then we want to, as we get ready for the holidays, we had daylight saving times hit on this past Sunday. So it's starting to get darker faster. At one point, it's going to be getting dark at 4:30. So, but we want to hear, what are your plans for Thanksgiving? And we'll go more in that. And then also letting us know, we want to just talk about parents who may be in need. So we have a couple of potential events that are coming up, but we want to hear from you guys to let us know if there are specific parents who are in need, who we can invite them out to an event or just do something special for them individually. But let's go back to this. And I'm pulling on Sonya right now. She riding and taking care, she walking and chewing gum. How you doing, Sonya?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna be vulnerable. When I tell you I got a brother in the hospital and I'm picking up an uncle who just got back from surgery, like I done been to two hospitals since 5 o'clock this morning. So y'all pray for a sister.
Come on now. It ain't easy. But I see we
Thank you.
got check in. We got Rhea checking in, who's saying good morning. We got Miss Compton, who's checking in and saying good morning. We got Miss Marnisha Gardner, that's checking in, and then we got Miss Cook, who just came from our class 10 of the fellowship. So welcome, guys, and thank you guys for jumping on. And I see you, Danielle, getting on in there. Like, appreciate that. As I always say, like, share this out, and let us know you're here, and let other people know that you're here as well. But one of the things I want to jump into, in this work with our organizers, and Sonya know this, we talk about there's two ways to have power, right? Two ways. One way is to have money, right? When you got money, you can just buy some things. You can buy people's time if they have a commitment to it. And with people, that moves it. So if you got the money, you may can pay the people or motivate the people or get the message out. But the other way, dealing with something I just talked about, and it's something that the parents of propellers, I see Cassandra, Rhea, Marnisha, Miss Cook, who have gone through our fellowship. The second most important part, which is for Propel, is the people power. And our last two events, from all the way in Hendersonville in the evening, and then yesterday earlier in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning downtown, for the event we had yesterday. And I just want to shout out, and I'm gonna look them up, if you guys came. I know we had shout out to Miss Moffin, shout out to Miss Harris. Shout out to Lita and Dupree, for coming out. Shout out to Joyce. Shout out to Miss Bennett. And then I got a couple more that are coming up. But just for yesterday, just wanted to thank you guys. It was a wholesome conversation. I saw one picture that somebody sent me where everybody had pictures of their babies, right? As we're having this meeting on education, I think it was good and centered because everyone had it in their hand, even as they were listening. And so as we were having this real conversation, you felt people take it personal, right? Because it wasn't just in general. Like when we had the pictures of our kids in front of us, it was very specific about our kids. But Sonya, just wanted to get your feedback. I know you led a portion of it to close it out, but just feedback from yesterday. And Sonya going in and out, like I said, she driving. I see Miss Harris just jumped on here. I see Thomas jumping here. Like, thank you guys for like showing that leadership. But I think what highlighted, and if you were there yesterday, it was two people who really highlighted and motivated parents. It was a parent by the name of Bishop. I can't remember Bishop's last name, but I'm gonna tell you, when he was talking, people were listening. Black father, about 6'3", 6'4", and he was really open. You know, he talked about in his day-to-day job, he does logistics, so he has to use his brain. But he kept saying when he came to education, it wasn't that he didn't know it, he just didn't understand how the school system works. And I think it motivated parents. But I also say, and y'all let me know, Bishop Lampkin, there we go, Bishop Lampkin. Thank you for that, producer. Bishop Lampkin is a father from Memphis, Tennessee, who drove up here to sit on the panel. But the other person was a guy who just had a belief, Bob Nardo, who started the school, and just everything that he said, he talked about accountability. He talked about equity. He talked about just not even equity. He talked specifically about race. And I think not only was it motivating that he talked about it, but I think his track record has really demonstrated that he walks the walk and talk the talk. I had a principal right here in Hermitage who sent their whole staff up to visit the school just last week. And so I thought it was an amazing opportunity to have people on the panel. But just feedback. If you were there, Tiana, I see you jumped on here. Good morning. Let us know your feedback. What are some of the things that you enjoyed about yesterday and learned and just anything that was helpful to you for attending the meeting, you know, on a Tuesday morning at the downtown library. And good morning to you, Candace. And as people are coming in, one of the things that we also want to go to is I think what's happening right in this country right now. I think the pandemic happened, and as fast as we move, you know, a lot of us are just trying to keep up with the city of Nashville. You know, we're trying to keep up when in 2011, when the rent was $550, and now that same apartment, you know, it's $1,200. So, you know, as parents and community members, we're working. Like, we're trying to make sure we don't get pushed out of a city that we live in. But I also think like parents are starting to realize like it's a real opportunity to change what's been happening, because the pandemic put us in a place where we watched our kids learn at home and we watched them thrive in some subjects or just really struggle overall. And so coming out of the pandemic, there've been a ton of policies in the last 12 months where they're reforming everything. As they talk about, you know, retention, you know, an action for third grade. If a kid is not on third grade reading level by the time they finish, like there's an intervention, there's retention. It could be summer school. It could be, you know, high dosage tutoring, but it's state law that says there's going to be an intervention. Right now, we're also talking about just literacy overall. Like, how do we grow our scores? And I think a lot of this just stemmed from what I've heard from you guys, just being home and watching your kids struggle with some of the things that we thought they already know. And Tanya, I see you came back.
I came back. Ain't nothing stopping me. I'm relentless.
Come on now. But before you jumped off, I was just asking you just to talk through, you know, the part that you led and just your feelings from, you know, definitely yesterday, but even these last two meetings where we're talking about parents having a choice.
I mean, let's talk about yesterday, how powerful it was.
Mm-hmm.
In the room, there were parents from our most struggling communities, Black parents, brown parents, from Memphis, Tennessee, and from Nashville, Tennessee. Memphis Live and Nashville Propel. There were state representatives, and there were other lawmakers that I wasn't aware of. There was a former governor, Haslam, who was hosting the parent panel. There were reporters, and there were educators, and there were so many people in that room, right? That I feel like, okay, there were city council members. There was a room full of people, and you know, that care about children. It was hosted by Better Schools Outcome Now. It's a coalition of people who care, people who want better, and people who believe that all children deserve a quality education, and that's either through the traditional public school setting or having charter schools. And in our community, we are the people who have those children in those low performing schools. And so to be able to have our parents to be there to amplify their voice, to talk about the things that they care about the most, I just thought it was very powerful.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm trying to find, Sonya, is just that picture, because I think a picture. I
sent it in the group text.
Yeah, all right, let me pull that up. I think I got it right here. And just for you guys just to see this and how it looked, and just the magic of parents holding their kids' pictures up just right then and there, and having their own kids on their mind. Can you guys see that? Okay, yep.
Can't see the picture yet.
What about now? So it should be on the screen, but as you can see, you had a room full of Black and brown and poor parents, and parents who just wanted a choice overall, all on one accord. Okay, saying we see the picture, and keeping centered of what the focus is, like not getting focused on politics, right? I always say sometimes you get into these situations like it's the Bloods versus the Crips, like it's parents, like yesterday was just an opportunity to take a step back and just say, right now I'm focused on my kid and the kids around this school who just need better. And I think the speakers, the panel, it reinforced a lot of what we were feeling. One dad was behind me. He asked to use my computer because his phone was dying, his iPad was dying, and he was just taking notes like nuggets from everything he was hearing, and it motivated him. And that's what we're looking for. Like, that was the most powerful part to me, of just seeing parents connect with what they're learning, like whether it's been our fellowship class or the actions that we've done at the school board or in the community, to like the message that was being put out right then and there. And Sonya, you ended it with one message, and you said every time when Black people don't have a choice, we die. And in Nashville, it's an easier situation when you don't have a choice in where you send your kid to school, and you don't have the option of a good school.
That's right. We're not here to tell people where to send their kids to school.
Yep.
We're here to make sure that parents have the knowledge that they need so that they can make informed decisions about what school that they go to. Because this is the thing. If it's a traditional school and it is not performing and doing what it needs to do for your children, then you need to be able to not be stuck in that school. And if it's a charter school and it's not doing what it needs to do for your child, then you need to make an informed decision about your child. And if it's a private school, if it's a homeschool, whatever you need to do for your children, that's what's most important.
Yeah. And Candace on here, our resident Old Hickory representative, said she got a letter from the school saying the whole school is having trouble and they'll be getting extra help. The whole school is struggling, which she made emphasis on. And I'm going to tell y'all the difference that we're seeing now when schools are having to own and be transparent, which we can appreciate, like the schools sending it. But we also want, Sonya, we want to make sure they don't just send the letter on the school struggling. Like, what is the real plan? Wait a
minute. So you're saying what now?
So Candace, Miss Brewington, just said she got a letter from the school to say the whole school is having trouble and they're going to be getting extra help, and I think she emphasizes the whole school is struggling.
And so for the last year and a half, we have been building broad-based support around personalized learning for each student. We already knew this. We already knew that the children were already struggling. They were already struggling, right? Already struggling, but we knew that the pandemic was going to be catastrophic.
We knew that.
So all I want to say is, we already done taught you. And there's been a lot of opportunity to prepare.
Yep. Been a lot of opportunity to prepare. And as Kendall puts this up,
and my prayer is My prayer is
And Sonya, it's going out just a little bit, but I think where I'll jump in, even as I think about Kendall and Candace, they have kids at the same school, and I want to connect you guys. But I think what we want to do around here, Propel, is really carry out our mission, Kendall and Candace. And so when we talk about our mission, we organize and develop powerful parent leaders to ignite a movement that demands equitable education policies and practices in national public education. And so being able to sit in and work with you before the meeting to talk about what do you want to be true, to hold them accountable to the words and the directions they put in the IEP, that's just part of the mission. And that's what we love doing, but we can't do it alone. So it's that partnership.
Absolutely.
So we'll definitely keep this train moving, but like, we're in a fight, parents, like whether you know it or not. And I know you can relate, because I would say we're in a fight around the soul of Nashville. And we're in a fight around like who's going to be able to stay. It's almost like Hunger Games. And so when you got terrible schools and you have terrible housing situations, it depletes. And I think we got to continue to come together to make sure our kids are getting the best that they deserve from the schools, especially when the schools are fully funded.
Fully funded and receiving blank checks.
Somebody told me last night at the board meeting, they just reemphasize $1 billion is not a lot of money. And that's like you coming to me when I was 5 and you showing me like a lot of money. And, to them, when you see people on the internet, they got like the $2,000 and they like, they got it on their arm or got it to their ear. It may not be a lot of money, right? But like we always say, Sonya, I ain't never seen $1 billion, smelled $1 billion, or been even close to counting $1 billion. And when we think about $1 billion, I can't say that's not enough money to really do something significant.
What it smell like, John?
Come on now. I thought it should smell like freedom, right?
Yep.
I thought it should smell like when you smell it, you say, this is the promised land, right? Like, we are going to make sure we do the best that we have with the money we have. And I'm going to tell you, Sonya, and it's kind of related to education, but I'm telling you, that's why divide and conquer never works. Because last night I heard families, who work in our schools, the support staff, who are the bus drivers, the cafeteria workers, the bus monitors, the janitors. Like, they were like, they can't make enough to even survive and pay rent, right? And one lady talked about the raises. She was like, but there were people who got raises in the central office. She was like, that money could have went towards our department and put us in a place where we can afford to live. She essentially said, you're giving raises to people who already got a surplus. And then you got us who are managing the day-to-day operations of your school, whether it's getting the kids, taking the kids home, working with them during the day, making sure the place is clean, or making sure they're fed, are the least of them and are last on the list.
Yeah, it is sad. The people who work the closest to the children are struggling. And that's why we see a huge decrease in our workforce. Like, people got to survive. And our bus drivers, I had a family member that's a bus driver. And when I tell you that Christmas time, she's giving them gift cards for making good grades. And Halloween, she dressed up, for Halloween. But those kids love her. Those kids want to do well for her. And those people mean something in our community. And we're not investing in the people who work the closest to our children. And we were investing and giving even more money to people who are making 6 figures, and they're doing it off of PowerPoints. You gotta get over. Okay. Off of PowerPoints and not off of outcomes. I got a problem with that. Wait a minute, watch this white.
Yeah, and what she's saying, and we all know this, like, just from the times of us sitting in these parent meetings, like they go through the motions, and then you'll look up an hour later, you'd be like, but what did we just solve? We just read a checklist, right? And they checked a lot of boxes. But I've just seen parents walk out like, okay, like we wanted to come in here and talk about behavior. We wanted to come in here and talk about academics. And I don't think nothing happened. I think we just checked, and I think we got to get away from that. And the lady said, I've been coming to y'all for 20 years.
Huh?
And I was like,
Tell me what a turn.
what are we going to do
What is
different
your turn for?
to have a different outcome? And I think that's just what we got to work on. And so even as we transition, like one of the things I wanted to ask, because we got to think about the least of them, and we got to think about the it city that's not it for a lot of people. What are some events, guys, if you know events that are going on in the community, whether it's anywhere in Nashville, or if you know individual families who may need help, like let us know. You know, November is a month of Thanksgiving, and these are some opportunities that we can have for give back, or just really showing up and being a friend to the families that we have worked with. And so if you know of any events, whether it's Thanksgiving meals, fall festivals, or any other community events, like shoot us a DM. I think Candace said she sent us a letter. I think it's related to the school, but let us know. I mean, our team, our organizing team, our leadership team, like those would be events we'll be happy to be a part of. I want to send just a quick prayer in a moment of silence for Bishop Campbell. Just his heart for the community is so strong. And I just always want to keep people in our community lifted up, especially in Thanksgiving, because I know the work gets even harder as you try to take care of the community. And so, Sonya, I was just letting them know, like, to keep Bishop Campbell in prayers, keep Stacy Campbell, his wife. You know, they are equally yoked, and I know they have been giving everything they got for the community for the past few years. And I know this Thanksgiving time is gonna be real, because people need help. All right, and so as we think about
and Lady Campbell.
Say that again, Sonya.
I was just saying that we love Bishop Campbell and Lady Campbell. We want to send our prayers. I echo that.
Yep. And so one of the things that we want to do, like I said, is attend these events and really continue to be part of the community. And so if you know things, let us know. But one of the last things that I wanted to really ask you guys and go over with, like, what are some of the things that are keeping you guys up at night as parents? Like, as you think about end of the school year, as you think about this upcoming school year when we start, I mean, this upcoming semester as we start in January, like, what are some of the things? We just had parent teacher conferences, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And I know some parents were pretty excited. Some parents walked away enlightened. Some parents walked away with question marks. But let me know, like, what's keeping you guys as parents up? I know Kendall and Candace definitely give us a lot of feedback, and feel free to jump in on that question. And any more parents who may have feedback, like, what is keeping you up at night when you think about education? And as those are coming in, shout out to Shamika Holt. One of the things that she sent to us, there's a parent event that we're going to do some voter registration at. So Shamika came out yesterday. She came out last Wednesday. Really been one of our ride or dies. Again, we appreciate you, and we're going to continue to go strong. So Kendall says, my daughter being in the 5th percentile in 8th grade in math. That is really hard. When you think about how do we catch up, it's not about where you are, but what's the real plan in order to catch your daughter up. And so I totally understand why that would keep you up at night. Candace says, the teachers want me to do all the work because they can or won't teach my son. how he learns. And I think she emphasized he learns because as mothers and as teachers, we mostly know how our kids are, and the kids we teach, and it's a pattern. So thank you. That's totally understandable, Candace. And then Shamika jumps back on here. Thank you, teamwork, which is all good. I know you and Kendall. See, powerful parents hooking up with one another. That's what it's about. I think Miss Moffin is a powerhouse, and I'm seeing Shamika in her element, not only with Propel, but just community needs. All right, there we go. There we go. And so think about this. So last night, a lot of parents came to the school board. You know, one of the things that we spoke with 92Q about, and a lot of you guys on here were calling in, we were talking about where they said that parents were not showing up and being vocal, and not having a place at the school board. And last night, I don't have a picture of it, but I could at least seen 50 to 55 parents who showed up last night to give a point of view around things that they need for their individual child's school. One parent came at the end because they skipped over because she wasn't there, but she was like, I was rushing through traffic to get out here to this meeting with two kids, to make sure I was personally on record for what she believed in with her child's school. I think it's a school out in North Nashville. And that was just strong to see, but that just shows you like the power of parents once we're all on the same page and once we're, you know, speaking with one voice. And so I know Sonya is having a few difficulties. I see Jordan jumped on here. So Jordan, thank you. I saw Jordan last night come out at the school board standing. I saw some of our founders of Propel come out last night and they spoke individual. I think I seen Golding and Tremaine. Like it was a really strong moment. Yeah, like it was powerful. Because you had parents who were fed up or they just misunderstood what was going on and they were trying to get to the bottom of it. And so we got a long way to go. I'll end with some of the things that I talked about at the beginning, guys. Like Thanksgiving holiday, we are looking to do some neat, creative, and positive events. We want to support the community. So if you know of fall festivals, if you know of people who are doing Thanksgiving meals, definitely let us know. Send us a DM, put it on here. We'll be here. And yeah, be part of the community. A friend of mine reached out. He has a chicken and waffle business and he's trying to figure out like how can he take some of this time to give back. And so I got a couple ideas. I know we're doing some at the Boys and Girls Club at Andrew Jackson. Shout out to Tierra and Jordan for that. An opportunity to go back over and fellowship with that community. But other than that, guys, keep up the good work. I think our producer put a link to the Tennessean, and I'm going to highlight it just a little bit because I'd be remiss. One of our team members on the team actually got a chance to sit on the panel, and she said some pretty strong words. And so I'm going to just pull it up before we get out of here. And it was Ria's comment. Let me pull it up from Ria. And what was really strong about this is she just got a chance to tell her personal story. You know, someone who lives in Hermitage, but travels all the way into Nashville, you know, Monday through Friday to get her kid to a school, like a MEGS, like a Purpose Prep, like a MLK, but just an opportunity for choice. And it says Ria Groves. Let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah. I know Ria is usually sometimes shy, but it says Ria Groves of Hermitage has a 7-year-old at Purpose Prep Academy in Nashville. She's also a parent advocate with Propel, a coalition of mostly Black and brown parents representing families in North Nashville and other low-income minority areas. And her quote, "Kids don't have a way out. Kids are dying. Kids are out here committing crimes because they don't have an education," she said during a panel moderated by former Governor Bill Haslam at the Nashville Public Library's downtown branch. If we don't fund individual kids to meet their individual needs, they don't make it. And thank you for that, Ria. It was really a quote that resonated, especially as we think about violence, as we think about the things that are going on around. And so thank you. Wanted to make sure before I left out, I highlighted that. I saw our producer just put the link in. And then the last thing I'll do, just as a an opportunity to support a friend and somebody I've just followed for years now. There is an anti-balance event at McGavick this Saturday. It's anti-balance, but it's a basketball camp. So I want to say it's from 5 to 18. So if you got kids, boys or girls who want to have a chance to get a free camp, but also meet people as we think about anti-balance opportunities in our community, as we think about gun violence, as we think about fighting, this will be the opportunity. And again, it'll be this Saturday at McGavick High from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So yeah, that's it. And so with that, thank you guys. Like I said, it's short. I'm missing my partner in crime. And so I am going to check out. But if you guys got questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to DM us. And other than that, fellowship cohort class 11, we will see you guys for your final class tomorrow. I know I talked to Ms. Rollins and Ms. Jones today. Look forward to seeing all you guys in there so we can close this thing out in a strong way. And then everybody else, we got our campaign training next Tuesday, so in 6 days. So all of our fellowship alum, just be on the lookout. We'll be doing it next Tuesday, 6 o'clock, as we use Zoom. So thank you guys. See you soon, and propel.